and there was blood everywhere. And I mean everywhere. It looked like a sacrificial altar.
Mm.
And the man who was with her was helping her get off the table. She looked like she was about to pass out. And I remember thinking, what is happening? Like, I had been to abortion clinics before. I had taken my friends
Mm-hmm.
for abortions before, and I had never experienced anything or seen anything like that in my
Mm-hmm.
life.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode on the We Are Voices for Life podcast. We are actually right in the middle of a series called Stories for Life, and we've had some compelling stories from women who are receiving forgiveness and healing and redemption after their abortion and are active in the pro life movement. And today I'm excited because we have a mother daughter team, and their story is different because mom, Miss Heidi, chose life. And now her daughter is here. So we're going to talk about what that looks like. So, first, I just want to introduce them and let them tell you a little bit about themselves. Let's start with mom. Heidi, tell us about yourself, your family, and whatever else you want to tell us about yourself.
So, my name is Heidi Davis. I am 54 years old. I live in Youngstown, Ohio. I am the mother of four beautiful children and a grandmother now to
Aw.
my youngest granddaughter, Willow,
Mhm.
and a proud mother of Lindsay Davis, who's here with us and excited to share the story of how she came to be. Because if Lindsay wasn't here, then none of my other children would be here either.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you. Thank you. And Lindsay, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm 25. I am married to Zach. You guys know Zach.
Yes.
And I am the mother of a beautiful little girl named Willow that my mom just mentioned. And my husband and I go out to a abortion mill in Cuyahoga Falls to preach the gospel, share my testimony, um, and bring the hope of Christ to these women that are coming to uh, murder their children.
Yeah. And I will say that, and I have a question for you, Heidi, but I will say that I have witnessed your daughter, Lindsay, at the abortion mill, preaching the gospel and really right in the enemy's territory with all this tenacity. So, how does that impact you, watching your daughter, watching the woman she has become and what she's doing?
I am, and I'm going to try not to get emotional, but I'm so
Mm-hmm.
proud of her
Mm-hmm.
and who she is and who the Lord has risen her up to be.
Mm-hmm.
She's always been, she's incredibly smart. I'll talk about you like you're not here,
Yeah.
Lindsay. She's incredibly smart.
Mm-hmm.
And quick-witted, and when she was in the world she was I mean, she blew everybody away in speech and debate. And it's amazing though how the
Wow.
Lord would use those giftings
Mm-hmm.
and the things that he has really gifted you with that you used to use in the world, because without the grace of Jesus and without the love of Jesus and without the mercy of Jesus, it could really be an ugly debate all the time. And when we were all just together, I think it was what, 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
I watched her pour out all of this grace and all of this, in addition to knowledge and in addition to wisdom, when she was speaking to people on the other side. I also
Mm-hmm.
watched the grace of Jesus pour through her.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as her mom, I'm so incredibly proud of who she is and what she's doing. And to get up every single morning on a Saturday and get out of the
Yeah.
house at 6 a.m. I mean, this could be a day that she and Zach could just spend together, right? But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they sacrifice and they're obedient to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And to watch her in this ministry is just one of my greatest joys. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Mom.
You're welcome.
That is, it is an absolute beautiful testimony. One of the things I heard recently at a pro life rally, and it really is powerful and it impacted me because I see it right here, is that when you save one baby, you're saving a generation. So
Amen.
now, Heidi, you get to be a mom and a grandma. And that would not have been the case had you went forward with that. And so, with that, leading into that, Heidi, I would like you to share your moment of crisis when you found out you were pregnant. What was going on? Was abortion an option for you? Did you feel pressure from anyone to have the abortion? What was going on in your life at that time?
I think it'll give an interesting insight to kind of how when you don't have Jesus, because I was
Mm-hmm.
so far removed from the
Mm-hmm.
Lord
Mm-hmm.
that time.
Sure.
And so having a baby was not even an option.
Mm-hmm.
Having a baby was not even a thought, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
just being really honest. It
Mm-hmm.
was, hey, I'm 28. This guy and I have been dating for a couple of months. I'm not interested in having a kid. I let him know what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then I called up one of my girlfriends and I was like, hey, we need to go find a place.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked and I was living in Miami at the time. So I was just partying, partying, partying,
Mm-hmm.
living the craziest lifestyle. I was
Mm-hmm.
rarely sober.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about me said new mom.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about me. And so my girlfriend said that she would take me. The guy gave me half the money and I was just ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I had no regrets. I had no second thoughts. I just wanted this to be over with.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went there, and I specifically looked for a place that was expensive or more pricey because then I figured it wouldn't be some kind of a chop shop that you hear,
Mm-hmm.
horror stories
Oh
about.
yeah. Yes.
And let's
Mm-hmm.
face it, they're all chop
Chop shops.
shops,
Yep.
right? But I was only thinking about
Oh
myself. I
yeah.
was
Oh
only
yeah.
thinking about my own health.
Sure.
And so walking in, everything was completely. Do you want me to go into the full story?
Yeah, because Lindsay shared a little bit of it in when she did a podcast a few months ago, and it was really dramatic.
It is
So,
dramatic.
yeah, I would like you
It's
to
really
share that.
spiritual. And like that's one of the things that I wish people
Yeah.
really understood
Yep.
is that all of this is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. And that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean we have to hyper spiritualize it, but when I share this story, there's no way to make it less spiritual
Sure.
because the
Mm-hmm.
Lord met me there. And so I'm sitting in the waiting room and they called my name and I got up to go to the back and it was like any other doctor's appointment, hey
Mm-hmm.
Heidi, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
And I get up and I go to walk in the back. And it was as if when I crossed over the threshold to walk to the
Mm.
back room, I had literally entered into something that was otherworldly.
Mm.
And what I am about to explain to you in the natural probably looked very different. But I wasn't walking into the natural. I
Right.
was walking into the spirit at that
Mm-hmm.
point, and I didn't know the Lord. So you can
Right.
imagine how
You were terrified.
terrifying
Yeah. Yeah.
this is because when you don't know Jesus, I
Mm-hmm.
had no resources
Mm-hmm.
to I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
call out to the Lord. I didn't know to call out to the Lord. I didn't know what was happening. And I walked in and I first looked to the right and the door was open and there was a woman coming off of the table where they had just performed an abortion and there was blood everywhere. And I mean everywhere. It looked like a sacrificial altar.
Mm.
And the man who was with her was helping her get off the table. She looked like she was about to pass out. And I remember thinking, what is happening? Like, I had been to abortion clinics before. I had taken my friends
Mm-hmm.
for abortions before, and I had never experienced anything or seen anything like that in my
Mm-hmm.
life. Then I looked to the left, and the door was open to the doctor's office. And when I tell you what looked back at me was the most terrifying thing I have ever seen to this
Mm-hmm.
day. It was the doctor, but he was so you could tell he was so fully demonized
Mm-hmm.
that he had on these polarized sunglasses and he
Mm-hmm.
was smoking a cigarette, like the kind in like the
Mm-hmm.
Cruella de Vil, like a thousand,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
And the smoke was billowing over his head. His skin was, and listen, I realize this sounds fantastical to some people, but I promise you, if you had seen this, you would never
Mm-hmm.
forget.
Mm-hmm.
His skin was the color of jaundice.
Mm.
And I was so terrified in that moment that I knew that I was looking at a demon of death right in the eyes. And I was terrified to move, but I was more terrified not to move.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned around and I ran back into the waiting room and looked at my friend and I said, "We have got to get out of here."
Mm.
And I started yelling to the other women that were in the waiting room, "You have to get
Get
out of
out.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something wrong
Oh my God.
here. You've got to get out of here." And who knows? I don't know if anybody else followed us,
You probably
but I
saved a couple babies that day. I bet.
I pray to the
I
Lord
pray.
that
Yeah.
I did, but
Mm-hmm.
I ran out of there. And I would love to tell you that's when I started walking with the Lord.
Oh, it
But
never,
it
yeah,
is.
it never works out that way. But
Yeah.
in that
But the
moment,
Lord was
yeah,
walking with me.
yeah.
And the
Wow.
Lord cared about Lindsay. And I
Mm-hmm.
truly believe that the enemy knew the plan for her life, which is
Mm-hmm.
why he was trying to
Mm-hmm.
extinguish her
So
in the world.
hard to, yes. And so, Lindsay, hearing that story, so many things are going through my mind. So, how old were you, Lindsay, when your mom shared that story, and how did that make you feel? How did it impact you?
Um, I'm not sure that I quite remember exactly how old I was, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that it was sometime after I had given my life to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's it's just it's a lot
Yeah.
to comprehend that your life was going to be personally taken by um, the most evil thing that we have in our society right now, which is
Mm-hmm.
abortion,
Mm-hmm.
the murder of the most innocent humans in our society.
Mm-hmm.
So to know that you would have been grouped among the millions of babies that are murdered by abortion every year is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
um, but it just makes me so grateful to my mom for
Mm-hmm.
listening
Mm-hmm.
to she didn't know at the time was the Lord telling her to leave that place.
Mm-hmm.
um because and I was thinking about this the other night. You hear pro-abortion people talk all the time about how, if a child is going to suffer or they're going to have hard circumstances, it would be better
Mm-hmm.
off for them to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking about all of the different things that I've been through in my life, and a pro-abortion person would say it would have been better off if her mom
Mm-hmm.
just killed her then.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I think
Mm-hmm.
about how happy I am to be alive in spite of all of the things that I've been through. And
Yeah.
so
That's awesome.
it's crazy to comprehend, but the Lord has used
Mm-hmm.
what the enemy meant for evil for
Yeah.
tremendous good. And I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you as well, the enemy tried to take me out before I was born, and he has not stopped
Mm-hmm.
uh, since
Mm-hmm.
then. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Wow.
yeah.
When you carry that kind of mantle in your life, there's always going to be things like that. And even in your rebellion, Heidi, he said you have to get out of here. And so and you
Amen.
followed that. And I believe that when all this was happening with you, Heidi, that the Lord was also, he was actually seeing Willow, because he has a
Yes.
plan and a purpose for Willow. So can you
Mhm.
imagine You know what Willow's going to do when we see what you're doing, Heidi. We see what your daughter Lindsay's doing, and now we have Willow. And so, speaking of that, there is a very human experience. Like when somebody chooses life for their baby, then real life kicks in. Like, I am going to be responsible for another human. My life is going to change. It's not going to be easy. And we can point the women to the help centers to get the diapers and the bassinets and the formula, which we kind of did not too long ago. We'll talk about that. But what's something that, I was listening to a podcast a few months ago where the podcaster was saying, yeah, your life is going to change. No, you're not going to be taking, weekend trips and, being spontaneous and things like that, but you get to leave a legacy. You get to raise another human that is part of you. And I think if we could just change the focus on this is going to be bad, this is going to be a burden, I can't afford it, it's going to be an inconvenience. Yeah, it's going to be all of that. Even when you're planning to have a baby is hard. But the human experience that, if we could just get people to see this is going to be different, but it's going to be so good. It's going to be good for humanity. It's going to be good for your family because you're adding to your family. There's going to be a generation that goes before you because you chose life. So,
Can I add to that
yes,
really quick?
please. Mm-hmm.
So I was terrified
Mm-hmm.
when I left the
Yes. What
abortion
happened
clinic.
when you left? That's what I want to know. How did that shape you as you
I was
decided to? Yeah.
terrified.
Yeah.
And even at 28, you have to understand my life was in complete shambles. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a great job. I would had only been dating Lindsay's dad for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he certainly didn't want to have a baby at that time either. And so it was one of these things where, what am I going to do? Like, even at
Mm-hmm.
28, you don't want to call your parents and say, hey, I
Oh
realize I
yeah.
don't have a great job. I'm living in Miami. I'm
Mm-hmm.
basically an alcoholic and I don't know what I'm going to do or where I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I left Miami and I wound up moving in with my sister in Atlanta. I was
Okay.
absolutely terrified. Lindsay's dad and I wound up getting back together and we
Mm-hmm.
actually wound up getting married and having three additional children. But I will tell you that the moment, and I was scared the whole pregnancy because
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I didn't even know if I ever wanted children at all,
Yeah.
let alone this unplanned child, right?
Mm-hmm.
The moment that they placed Lindsay in my arms, and this is my heart cry for any woman who hears this, who finds herself in that
Mm-hmm.
situation, that the moment that baby is placed into your arms,
Yeah.
everything changes. And I mean, everything changes in the most beautiful way. And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, you realize that this moment gave you purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And my life really had no purpose prior to Lindsay. I was
Mm-hmm.
just partying and running
Mm-hmm.
around town and moving from state to state and had no
Mm-hmm.
real responsibilities and had no real direction in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave me purpose and she gave me meaning. And it didn't matter that she wasn't planned, she was planned by God before the foundation of the world. And so being able to
Yes.
be her mom was my greatest pleasure. And I went from crazy party girl to the mom who would do flashcards with her on the floor and read
Oh,
her books and throw her
yeah.
these crazy birthday parties. And not for one moment,
Yeah.
not one moment in my life have I ever regretted the decision to keep my baby.
Wow. What a beautiful testimony. And so now look, Lindsay is a wife and a mom. And what is that like for you? I mean, you almost did not come to be, and
Mhm.
being a mom does shape you as a woman. So what's your experience like? Zillow is she's sassy. I love her, full of life, personality. So she is Willow aware of what you're doing, and does she understand what you're doing, and all of that, and how has being a mom shaped you as a woman?
So, when Zach and I got married, I was 19,
Mm.
and we got pregnant just a few months after we got married.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I didn't really think about it too in depth. I just was like, let's just trust the Lord with,
No.
the timing. And so it was it was a little bit uh, scary even for me when I found out, because in our culture,
Mm-hmm.
our current modern culture, the idea of getting married young,
Yeah.
having children young,
Mm-hmm.
is seen as a failure.
Mm-hmm.
For one, because you're
Mm-hmm.
staying home with your kids, you're not climbing some corporate
Corporate
ladder or
ladder.
getting
Yes.
a sheet of paper to show that you have worth in
Mm-hmm.
society. And so I
Mm-hmm.
was a little bit freaked out just about like the perception of um, my
Mm-hmm.
family. But my family, I mean, I wasn't worried about my mom, but
Yeah.
the rest of my family who, aren't believers and don't understand the
Yeah.
beautiful calling of being a wife and a mom.
Yeah.
But once Willow was born, I mean, she is everyone's favorite person. And
Mm-hmm.
I truly feel like she gave our family just so much life and purpose again.
Yeah.
Um, and so, um, being a mom, I just want to agree with something that you said earlier, which is there are moments where being a mom is extremely inconvenient, is
Mm-hmm.
burdensome in some ways. There are so many days where I have to do things that I don't want to do
Mm-hmm.
naturally. Um, but it is the most rewarding. I don't know why I'm emotional.
Yeah.
Um, it is the most rewarding calling in the world. Um,
Absolutely.
and there is nothing more meaningful than being entrusted with the soul of another little
Mm-hmm.
human that you created. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so it's the most beautiful, most rewarding, most joyful thing that I've ever done, the most difficult thing that I've ever done,
Yeah.
and the most worth it thing that I've ever done. And as far as what she knows about where we go,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, we obviously aren't with her on Saturday. And so we've tried to explain in a age appropriate
Sure.
way what we do. So she knows that we go somewhere that we call the bad doctors.
Yeah.
And we, try to help mommies and daddies who are in these situations. And
Mm-hmm.
um, she sees
Wow.
some of our like not graphic signs. Like we have a sign of just a baby in the womb that
Mm-hmm.
says created in the image of God. And she will walk in the house and give the baby a kiss. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
baby. What strikes me about it is that it's a baby in the womb at probably like 8 weeks. And so it
Yeah.
doesn't look, like a cute little
Sure.
infant.
Yeah.
It looks different. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but even she knows
Yeah.
that that's a baby. And I remember we were storing our signs in the garage one time,
Mm-hmm.
and she our signs are pretty lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
So she carried the baby sign inside the house, got a scarf, and put a scarf on the baby sign and
Oh.
said that she didn't want the baby to be cold. And I
Oh.
thought, this little girl
Yes.
has more compassion
Mm-hmm.
in her right thumb than the world has in their entire being for these
Yeah.
innocent little babies. And so um,
Mm-hmm.
the more time goes on, the more she, because she's so smart.
Oh yeah.
So she asks a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and everything is so obvious to her. Like, she'll say things like, because I wrote a song about what's going on at the
Oh,
abortion clinic, and she was
okay.
listening to it,
Yeah.
and it was talking about how the church is silent and is doing nothing, and how we
Mm.
essentially can't even, lift our finger to go and pray. And she goes,
Mm.
"Why would they not go and pray? These babies
Mm-hmm.
are being hurt." And
Mm-hmm.
everything is just so obvious to
Yeah.
her
Yep.
because she has that childlikeness that
Yep.
we tend to lose
Yeah.
as we get older, and everything becomes so complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But everything is so clear and obvious to her the way that it should be to the rest of us.
Yeah. And I just want to say this. If anybody listening, watching, you got to find Lindsay Knotts on social media because it's not like some cutesy thing you go stand on the corner or across the street, but it is a calling. She preaches the gospel. Her and her husband have been assaulted. Her husband has gone to jail. So this is a huge sacrifice, and like you said, you're not with your daughter on Saturday mornings. Like that's the time when most families are just sleeping in, cooking a big breakfast, kids watching cartoons. But this is a sacrifice that you're giving from your own family, your own daughter, to go save someone else, and then you get in return assaulted and arrested and all of that. And just recently, though, there's so many things I want to say, too many things going on in my mind at the same time. One is like the way that you witness and minister, it just flows from you.
Oh, thank you.
There's tenacity, there's wisdom, and then like you have all these facts stored in your brain, and you just and so really, if somebody's going to try and argue with you, they can't. And so I think that's why it turns into sometimes they don't know what else to do except to try to assault or verbally assault,
Yeah.
physically assault. But you can't argue with what you say to these women. Um, and you did have a woman change her mind recently. I saw that on
Yeah.
social media. What was that like?
Well, I didn't even know about it.
Uh huh.
Um, and this ministry can be so discouraging
Mm-hmm.
because it's not like homeless ministry is hard,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going somewhere where people want help.
Mm-hmm.
They
Right.
want food, they want what you're offering them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At this place, it is so vile and miserable and dark. And every time we go, I literally say, I hate this place.
Mm-hmm.
This is not an enjoyable ministry. And it can
Yeah.
be very, very discouraging
Yeah.
because
Oh yeah.
a lot of the time you don't know the end of the story. You
Right.
don't know if someone changed their
Mm-hmm.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got a comment on Facebook from a woman who lives in Cleveland, and she evangelizes at the preterm abortion mill there, which is
Mm-hmm.
the biggest abortion clinic in the state of Ohio.
Okay.
And she left me a comment that just said very simply, I just wanted to encourage you. I met a woman who saw one of your guys' videos on TikTok,
Mm.
and it changed her mind, and she decided to keep her baby. And I'm like,
Wow.
oh my goodness. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was just the most encouraging thing to hear. Also, thinking like TikTok has been our most like just
Mm-hmm.
gruesome platform because
Mm-hmm.
um there's just people can hide behind anonymity, and well,
Sure.
most of the comments on our TikTok videos or whatever are from like the most vicious pro-abortion
Sure.
people ever. And so I've thought to myself, like, I don't even know why we continue to post on here. But it's shown, like, even the things that we post just for other people to see, what's going on at these places, that's saving babies. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was really, really cool to hear.
I'm so glad. Yes.
You're doing is so important because sharing these stories will also save babies. And me sharing Lindsay's birth story for the last 8 years on Facebook, we know of 3 women who gave their babies life because of Lindsay's story.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Wow.
amazing.
That is. So sometimes you won't even know. That's where I want to encourage you. It's just to keep doing it. If you're going to get spit on, assaulted, whatever, keep doing it, because there's always that person that's just silently watching your videos, and they're thinking, and they're changing their mind, and you may never know. There's probably others out there that you will never know about. And so it is leaving a lasting legacy. It is making a difference. So I want to encourage you and your husband, and there's several others that come out, and I just call you all warriors, because you know what to do, you know what to say, and there's no fear. Maybe there is, but even in your fear, you come face to face with them, and I'm actually watching you, learning from you. And
Oh,
you did mention about culture, how they kind of look down on young couples having babies, but I'm starting to see a little bit of a shift. I'm starting to see people wake up, especially these college age students. And I know the enemy's mad, because that's where really people go to college and they are on fire for the Lord and they want to serve the Lord, and then something happens, and when they leave college, they're no longer serving the Lord. I really think we should congratulate anybody who graduates college and they're still serving the Lord. But there is a culture shift, and I think it happened to me, like I'm on the outside looking in, with Charlie Kirk, because he was his thing, and Benny Johnson, and people like that, where they're constantly, their mantra is get married, have kids, and that's the true meaning of life. And speaking from my age, I'm 60 years old. We've raised 3 girls, and out of everything, that is the thing that we really value the most, is our girls. And we're looking forward to being grandparents one day. But I'm glad that that is a really important job for you now, because I will admit I was very distracted when we were raising kids. It was like, okay, we got to work, we got to pay the bills, and sometimes you can miss the joy of motherhood. And I'm glad to hear you say that you are appreciating it and loving it and enjoying it, even in the difficult times.
yeah.
So yeah, that's really good to know. And I think that's why grandparents are the way they are, is because it's like our second chance. It's like our do-over. Because we already raised kids, we already have our regrets of what we wish we would have done better or different, whatever. So when we get to have grandkids, you know we can
Yeah.
do better. But look at the legacy that or the generation that has been spared, because you, Heidi, said, we got to get out of here. And you
Right.
screamed it for others, and hopefully there were other babies saved that day. And you didn't even know what you were doing, but you knew this is not right. So now, as we wrap this up, and then I'm going to give you a chance to, say whatever you want to say. But I want to ask you if you could speak to a woman in crisis, and what would you say to them that could help them see past this moment in crisis?
Oh, crisis is very short term. And
Mm-hmm.
because a baby really, baby's not a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
A baby is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And your fear and the enemy will lie to you and tell you that you can't do it, that this is a mistake, that the world's going to call you a failure, you can't afford it, you can't this, that. The enemy
Mm-hmm.
will tell you 500 different things.
Mm-hmm.
But if you choose life, and I pray that you choose life, the moment you hear that little heartbeat
Mm-hmm.
in an ultrasound, the moment you feel the fluttering of a little foot in your womb, the minute they place that baby in your arms, when you see them running out of kindergarten, yelling your name, holding up a macaroni necklace, and they can't wait to give it to you,
Yeah.
it will all have been worth it. And you will never believe that you ever considered anything else. And my 4 children are my entire life, my whole world. And not for 1 minute did I ever think I was that kind of a girl. I was
Wow.
selfish. I was self centered. I
Mm-hmm.
only wanted to take care of myself. They literally gave my life meaning
Mm-hmm.
because my life was meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally living to the next party, to the next weekend,
Yeah.
to the next whatever.
Yeah.
And when you choose life, because I'm going to speak life into the
Yes.
situation,
Yes.
when you choose life, you will never regret it because the best of everything is ahead of you. I didn't know where I was going to lay my head. I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. I didn't know how I was going to pay for diapers. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know anything. I just knew that I couldn't have this abortion. And I'm here to
Oh.
tell you, the Lord puts it all into place. There are so
Yeah.
many places that are willing to help you, whether it's housing or
Mm-hmm.
ultrasounds or maternity clothes or baby
Mm-hmm.
clothes or formula, any of those things. There are so many that do not let Planned Parenthood or any of these other places lie to you and tell you, oh, well, you can't afford it. There are so many systems in place. So
Mm-hmm.
when you give your yes, the next just question is, where do I find the assistance to help me? And
Yes.
that's where you get plugged in to
Mm-hmm.
one of these centers. And
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing they won't do to help you. They
That's
are
right.
rejoicing
They
at your
do.
yes.
That's right. That's right. And somebody just challenged us a couple weeks ago that, you guys show up with your signs, but you don't care about the baby once the baby's born. And I remember, Heidi, you said, okay, what you need? And they said, we need formula. And you're like, okay, great. And you left there and you went and bought formula. And then we were on a mission, and we were able to deliver those cans of formula to that lady who was yelling at us saying, you don't care about the baby. And you're absolutely right. There's so many help centers. There's more help centers, I think. I don't know. I think there's more pregnancy help centers than there are abortion clinics. So we do have that resource, but it gets hidden because they literally will do whatever they need to do to help you choose life. So yes,
And I
thank you
wish
for doing that.
people would understand that
Mm-hmm.
that these abortion clinics, they're not trying to help you.
You're right.
It's
They are not
about
in, yes,
money.
it's about money. This is not like we see you, this is your reproductive justice and we're standing up for you. They don't care about you. They don't know you. They don't see you. They just see the money.
It's
Absolutely.
all about the money. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why there's a push.
Yeah.
That's why when I went to Planned Parenthood to have that abortion, never once
Mm-hmm.
did somebody say to me, let me take you through all your options. No
Right.
one talked to me about adoption. No
Mm-hmm.
one talked to me about pregnancy help centers because if I changed my mind,
Then they lose.
they didn't get the money.
Mm-hmm.
And so
So
don't let your baby be murdered to line the pockets
yeah.
of a
That's
doctor.
that's very good. That's a good way of putting that. And Lindsay, what are your final thoughts on this? I've seen you take a text. I've seen you. I'm encouraging everybody who is listening or watching. I'm encouraging them to find Lindsay and Zach Knotts on social media and watch you work. It's really Holy Spirit working through you. But what are your final thoughts on this?
Well, there's nothing new under the sun. And so, um, child sacrifice has been a practice since the beginning of time. This isn't some, new thing post Roe. This is
Right.
something that um, demons have been teaching humans for, since the beginning of time. And so the promise of child sacrifice is always a lie. And so when they would practice child sacrifice in biblical times, they would think, if I sacrifice this child, then I'm going to have a plentiful harvest. I'm going to have economic prosperity. The lie is the exact same.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
sacrifice your child, then you're going to be able to have a successful career.
That's
It's
true.
always, the enemy always requires a sacrifice, whereas our God sacrificed for us. And
That's
so,
beautiful. Very well put.
basically, the enemy, he has nothing new to say. And everything that he says is a lie. He's the father of lies. And every path he presents leads to death, not just for these innocent babies, but for you can see that even by just looking at, psychological statistics post abortion. The suicide rates, the mental health impacts, it's absolutely insane. And so I would just encourage, because I don't have time. Like when a woman's walking in, I have 15 seconds
That's
to
right.
talk to her. And so I'm just pleading with her to stop, to come and talk to us, to not murder her baby. But if I could have more time, and I have had, conversations like this with women, longer conversations before they've went into the abortion mill, I would just tell them that this is a satanic lie, and it's not worth it. Anything you think that you're going to get out of this, any promise, there's nothing that the enemy can give you, because everything is the Lord's. And so he is lying to you when he tells you that if you sacrifice your child, then you're going to have X in return. But I think that the most startling thing that we have learned since we've been at the abortion mill now for almost a year, we're coming up on a year, and we offer to help every single woman that goes into this place before and after pregnancy. We have offered to adopt their baby, and
Wow.
none of them have accepted help. And so it's startling to see that even when you offer everything, if we live in a culture where women are told that abortion is empowerment. We have organizations called Shout Your Abortion, where women are, going into these clinics laughing, smiling. We have rarely seen crying, coercion. So, and I'm not saying that never happens, but what we have experienced is that the vast majority of women, like my mom was, are driven by selfish ambition, which is what child sacrifice has always been driven by. I will sacrifice my own child to get something. And so the only thing that can change hearts and minds is the power of the gospel. And so that's why we preach the gospel there, because even if a baby's not saved, it's so important that a mother or father, whoever, hears the gospel, because their soul is at stake.
Yeah. Yeah. And you do that very well, you and your husband, very well. So I just want to thank you both. Excuse me. I want to thank you both. Heidi, I want to thank you for choosing life.
Amen.
And Lindsay, I want to thank you for you are the voice of your generation. You are changing culture. I want you to be encouraged in that. Like you might not see it now, but your voice, you and your husband, you are literally changing culture. And I just encourage you to keep on. And I'm very honored to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. And since my husband and I met you and your husband, it's just been like a whirlwind. we have been we've been involved in some things that I never saw myself involved in, but now it's like we tell ourselves, how can we not do this? We don't know what we're doing. We don't have all the answers, and we're committed to learning. So I'm always listening, reading, watching, so that, I can be informed and, be wise, so that, I will have an answer for a young woman or a protester or whatever, because you do that very well. So I'm watching you change culture. So I just want to encourage you to keep moving.
Thank you.
I think, go ahead.
I was just going to I love how you said just keep showing up, because even if you can't see it, you're chipping away. Like this isn't something that you win overnight, but you're chipping away. And me and Jerry and Zach always say brick by brick to each other.
Yes.
But it makes me think of this man who is now in glory. His name was John Barrows. You'll have to look him up. He was truly so incredible, but he would go to the abortion mill in Florida every single day for about 8 hours a day. And he was on crutches. And so he was there for decades, preaching the gospel in the exact same spot for decades.
Wow.
And when he died, there was an imprint on the sidewalk from where his feet were and his crutches. And so I thought that just is such a beautiful metaphorical picture of the mark that we will leave on this culture if we continue to be faithful.
Amen.
And continue to show up.
Amen. Oh, wow. That was beautiful. That's a beautiful way to end this. I thank you both. I thank you, Heidi, for being so courageous. And even when you didn't know what you were doing, you did the right thing and you tried to bring others with you. And I thank you, Lindsay, and your husband. And even Willow, she's contributing to this because she's allowing you to not be with her on Saturday mornings, so she's a part of this movement as well. So I thank you both so much, and I appreciate your stories, and I'm looking forward to what's next. And as we continue to show up, like you said, Lindsay, we're going to keep doing that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate you, and we hope that these stories for life are impacting you. Today was another very powerful story from a mother and daughter, and how this mom chose life, and now she spared the next generation, and that next generation is a warrior for the pro-life movement. So thank you again, and until next time on We Are Voices for Life. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Voices for Life podcast. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share with a friend. And you can visit us at voicesforlife.net. Have a blessed day.